Hi everyone. I've been working on this Mills Tower setup for about a month now. The fundraising is complete. I've got all the equipment purchased and I've got it pretty much all set up. You can see it here in front of me. And I wanted to take a minute and do a video on the setup and show everybody exactly what all we've got, how the different parts are going to work together, and a little bit about why this setup is unique. So at Mills Tower, we're going to be monitoring the UP on one side with one set of radios and one set of protocol, and then monitoring the CN on the other side, which has their own frequencies, their own setup for ATCS. And then we're going to have a scanner radio to pick up the voice communications also. So we'll start with the antennas. We've got a 14 decibel Yagi, which is going to be pointed off to the kind of northeast on this setup. And then I've also got a 6 decibel vertical antenna. These two are hooked up with a couple of connector wires, and I'll come around the other side and show you here. The connector wires go into this PVC. Inside the PVC, you can't see it, but there's a combiner and a lightning arrestor. And then the cable comes out the bottom through this little loop. I'm going to actually put electrical tape around this to protect it so that the steel doesn't ever cut through the insulation on the coax. So I'm going to wrap that up and make sure that it's protected. And then from underneath here, there will be another cord coming out, or a wire coming out, which will be connected to the lightning arrestor. And you can see down here, this is what's called a non-penetrating roof mount. So at this point right here, this is a hinge which is going to lay across the peak of the roof. So the right-hand side is going to be on the south side of the roof, and this other antenna, which is the voice antenna, it's going to be on the north side of the roof. And then this tray just lays across the peak, and then in each of the four corners, I've got paving stones, which are over here. You have to excuse my mess. The paving stones are 17 pounds each, and one will sit in each corner of the tray. So then the cables, this cable, which is for the audio, I actually ran it down through this pipe. This is just a DirecTV arm, which is mounted to the tray on the bottom. And then I ran them both underneath of this part, which is it'll be set up slightly to offset it from the roof of the building. But there's enough space there to run the cables through. And then down here, you can see there's a lightning arrestor. This is actually identical to the one that's inside the PVC pipe on the other side. So the lightning arrestor, and then the antenna, which this is a 12-foot ceiling, and the antenna is probably about 3 feet from the roof. So that runs into this cable, which is going to go to a Bearcat scanner and then be hooked into the webcam PC. So these are where all of the signals are picked up. The ATCS antennas, because of the geography around Iowa Falls, there's a big hill to the east at Alden, and I don't think we'll be able to see past that. But we're going to try to see off to the north if we can pick up the Sheffield BCP controls, which are broadcast from Ventura Heights, just outside of Mason City, with this big horizontal Yagi. And then the vertical antenna will be plenty to pick up everything on the CN side, because we're really only looking for probably 4 control points on the CN side. We're hoping to get both ends of Mills Siding, Lynch, and then maybe Alden, which is on top of that hill off to the east. The voice antenna, this thing is kind of a monster. The antennas aren't standing straight up and down. I'll have to adjust those when they actually get installed on the roof. But this is going to be hooked up to the Bearcat scanner, which will go in through just a standard audio jack into the PC that runs the webcam. And you can see there's LMR 400, which is the cabling that I used for the ATCS side. And then this other side, I'm pretty sure it's RG8X. I would have to look and see for sure. But it's not nearly as thick of a cable, because for the voice side, you don't really need that much. So then, with the LMR 400, the ATCS cable, this runs all the way around. This is 35 feet of cable. It runs into a preamp. The preamp has got these leads soldered onto it for the power supply. And then it's going into a 4-way splitter. And this 4-way splitter is feeding the signal into 2 SD9s, which are going to monitor the UP side, and 2 Motorola Max Tracks, which are set to channel 3 to monitor the CN side. And then down here, we've got the power supply that's running everything underneath of the GE SD9s. So then I've got 2 PCs. The bottom PC is actually running the webcam, and the top PC is going to run the ATCS. And you can actually see, coming into the side of it here, this is the Ethernet to USB connector, which comes off of the SD9 radios. If you look at it, I've got this 5-port switch mounted to the side. It's getting the signals off of these 2 SD9s and then feeding it into the adapter, which goes into a USB port. And then over here, these 2 smaller white ones, these are for the iMics. And if you look here, 2 iMics and the audio cables, which come off the back of the Max Tracks. This is a PoE switch, because the webcam, which I'll show you in a moment, is PoE. So this is a special PoE switch to provide power to the webcam, and it's also bringing in the internet from the outside world to make a connection for both PCs. So if we come over here, you can see the webcam. It's an on-K webcam. It's a night vision. It is a fixed position, so I'll be setting it up on the northeast corner of the Mills Tower. It's going to be looking toward the diamond and off to the east. I'm hoping to be able to look down the CN toward the Mills siding and be able to see off that direction. And this PC is not going to have a monitor or keyboard. I have this here just for the purposes of having it to display. But you can see the OBS studio is running, and it's got the picture from the webcam, which is looking up at my very nice Marquette yard sign from the IMRL days. And that will be what's broadcast out to YouTube for the YouTube channel. And the last thing I'm going to do is fire up this PC, which is the ATCS computer. And we'll watch it boot up, and then you'll see once it comes up, oh, and we got to actually hit the power on this monitor. Once it comes up, it'll start up the instances of ATCS, and it'll also launch the monitor, which is designed specifically for the Mills Tower. It shows the area that the Mills Tower operator would have been in control of. So thank you to Mark for designing that custom layout for the Mills Tower. So the operator at Mills Tower, just so everyone's aware, would have controlled the Argonne siding, which is on the UP or Rock Island side, and then the Mills siding, which is on the IC or CN side. And then there was also an interlocking with a CNW branch that came through but that had been removed a long time ago. So we're starting up instances of ATCS monitor right now, and the startup script is running. So the first instance comes up, which I believe is for monitoring the CN side. And then you're going to see protocol mon come up, which is what interfaces with the SD9 radios. And then the last thing that'll come up is the actual display. And there it is for Mills Tower. So you can see it shows the control points on the UP, which are both sides of the Argonne siding. The 3 control points on the CN, which is Lynch, a couple miles off to the west. The West Mills, which is the actual interlocking, and the East Mills is the east end of the siding on the CN. So that is what we've got for a Mills Tower setup. I am hoping that, weather permitting, we're going to be out there on November 13th doing the install. So thanks for tuning in.